Welcome to the Egon Zehnder Sustainability Dialogues. I am Christoph Lueneburger. I lead the sustainability practice at Egon Zehnder, and I'm joined today by Mark Tercek, CEO of the Nature Conservancy. Mark, welcome.
Thanks, Christoph.
Mark, how do you make sure that you actually partner with someone who will be a good partner and also will behave in a way that's aligned with how the TNC wants to be seen?
Right, it's a great question, Christoph. We can't work with just anyone. It's a big deal for the Nature Conservancy to collaborate with a company, especially if it's a company with a big environmental footprint. We don't want to inadvertently allow, give a seal of approval to companies whose practices are bad, for example. This is serious business, getting companies increasingly to do the right thing, to change behavior. So we have a number of criteria we apply. It starts right with the top. We need companies, we'll only work with companies whose CEOs are deeply committed to working with us in getting their company on the right trajectory from an environmental perspective. So I mentioned Andrew Liveris at Dow. He gets it. He's passionate about our issues and is a really dynamic leader. By the way, that's important at the company itself too. Dow is a sprawling enterprise. Its leader needs to really emphasize internally that these are serious initiatives. Likewise, a Bob Iger at Disney, same thing. He gets the importance of this. His commitment is very real, and that's kind of obvious. You can tell if you sit down and talk and work with these guys. And then we look at their behavior. We look at the commitment of the board to support these initiatives. We look at the company's own sustainability reporting. Is the disclosure good? Disclosure is very important, not just for the company, but also for the Nature Conservancy. We want folks to know what we're doing. We don't want there to be any secrets or misunderstandings. One reason disclosure is important is we won't get everything right. These are kind of high-risk enterprises. We'll make some mistakes as we try this new work. And we're okay with that. We'll disclose what we learn. If critics or others see ways we can do our work even better and more productively, great. Again, we're not in this to make money or to do anything secretive. We really want to protect nature by working with the private sector, and the more input we get in that, the better. So those are some of the ways we think about it.
And what would you say is, how would you differentiate between those CEOs who get it, you just mentioned a few, and those who are just not quite there yet? What's the tipping point, the epiphany that makes them say, this is actually important to me as a business?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, who knows? Everybody's a little bit different. Some folks, I think, on the business side still have a rather superficial understanding of what a company can do in the area of sustainability. Now, some of the initiatives are not bad. There's philanthropic support from companies for organizations like ours. We can use the support. There are corporate social responsibility initiatives that begin the journey that we think is the right one. But the companies who really get it are the ones who try to get their core business focused on these issues in a way that strengthens their business. If it's philanthropy, it's always going to be an afterthought. It'll always be vulnerable in tough economic times. What I'm really arguing for is think about how an environmental or sustainability initiative will strengthen your business, improve your present value or your bottom line. And that's the way to make these commitments really stick. And that's what I think our best partners really understand.
What's on your performance dashboard? How do you think about whether you've done well this year or not? And what's on theirs? How do you translate your vision, the strategy, into the nitty-gritty in the field?
Yeah, very good question. I mean, it's not too different than the private sector, really. We try to set priorities as crisply as we can. It's tough in the nonprofit world. Certainly it's tough at the Nature Conservancy. We're really overwhelmed with very worthy opportunities of projects to take on. But I think we tend to overinvest in projects and kind of core conservation activity at the expense of some of our core capabilities, like leadership development. And so I'm trying to shift the pendulum back a little bit. And what I've been pleased to discover is a lot of our supporters are happy to support these initiatives, especially if they're business people, because they understand if we're going to have a great organization, a global organization that's innovative, that's championing new initiatives, we're going to need leaders. And to do that, we've got to do a better job of identifying our high potential people, understanding what they're good at, where they need room to improve, helping them improve, investing in that, bringing in experts, creating real programs. And so we've begun to do that these past few years. I think the results are very good.
That's inspirational. Mark, thank you very much for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Thanks very much for your support and your interest.